everyone, welcome to my second IGTV video, and on this video I'll be sharing 4 tips on how you can improve as a public speaker, and these 4 tips will also apply to new public speakers, up and coming public speakers, for you guys to be a better public speaker by understanding what I see in my perspective as the 4 basic fundamentals that are needed for a public speaker. Tip number 1. You need to have a flow of speech always. A flow of speech is always needed for a public speaker. Why? Because a public speaker is always a great communicator, and a great communicator is a great storyteller. So to be a great storyteller, you need to understand your audience always. And for this, you need to have empathy. Empathy is to put yourself in the shoes of your listener, of your audience, and imagine what they would feel and what they would want to hear and what they would feel after hearing your speech. So listening, being your audience for a few moments actually helps you. Why? Because you would feel as if you are the audience and you would know what they would feel after listening to what you speak. For example, and so with empathy, you can go on to places such as you can build the flow of your speech. How? Now when you have empathy, you can always use that empathy to build the flow of your speech. For example, if you are given to speak about, say, a great river of Sri Lanka, so without speaking directly about the river, you can build a flow, where you can build a small flow in your speech. How? For example, if you are told to speak about a river, you can always start with a drop of water. And through this drop of water, you can make your way slowly building your story into the river. And that is the main essential and the first fundamental of public speaking. Always have a flow in your speech. Step number 2, audibility of voice. Now, why does audibility matter so much? For example, if I speak very slowly like this, can you even hear? No. Why? Because audibility keeps the attention of your listener. However, audibility of voice can be used in different methods and different ranges. For example, the best example that I can give is when you are reaching to a specific point that you want to emphasize in your speech, you can always raise your volume like that, and that would always bring the attention of your audience to your speech. Why? But I would not recommend always doing this, because suddenly raising your voice like that in your speech would scare the audience, and I would not recommend to do that. But you can use that in certain instances. But rather than that, what I would recommend is that you would gradually increase the retention and the pronunciation and the tempo and the volume of your speech and of your voice, because that would then lead to slowly getting the audience or getting the attention of your audience into your speech when they are not when you would feel like they are drawing away from your speech. And this is my second tip for public speakers. Always have audibility. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Clarity of voice. Tip number 3. The reason why clarity of voice is very important is because clarity depends on how well you can deliver your message to your audience. With regards to clarity of voice, the best advice that I can give you is don't have mixed words and mixed sentences. As in, when you are speaking in one sentence, when you say one sentence, always make sure that there is enough pauses between the two words that you are saying, between the few words that you are saying. And also, when you are switching sentences, always have this varying of voice and volume, and also the tone that you say things, because the tone and the variation of volume are the things that matters when coming to clarity of voice. And always have having the correct pronunciation is also a special component with regards to clarity of voice. So audibility is a little related to clarity of voice as well, but however, what I would recommend is working on your pronunciation, working on the pauses, on the punctuations that you would find in your speech, and mostly the pauses in your speech. Why? Because pauses create a very special effect on your speeches. For example, if I pause for a second in my video, that would quietly bring the attention. If it was a different video, actually, it would quietly bring the attention to the video instantly. For example, in your audience, suddenly if you were speaking and if you suddenly go silent for a few minutes, for a few seconds, and then everyone would start looking at you. That would actually get the attention of the audience to yourself and would help you in increasing the attention span of your audience, and would also help you to deliver your speech well. Tip number 3, always have. Tip number 4, knowing your audience. So why should you know your audience, right? So the reason you should know your audience is because the speech you deliver has to be suited to your audience. You always have to consider the age, the gender, the social status, and where these people come from. The people you speak to differ from, and the way you speak to these different people differ according to different people, right? And this is the very reason that the way you speak and the people you speak to matter. So whenever you give a speech, for example, it could be for certain ages. You could not, if you are giving a speech to a very young set of children, you cannot use the same vocabulary and the same phrases and the same method you do for that you use for 30-year-olds. So it differs according to ages, social statuses, social ethnicities, etc. Because some people might find some things offensive while some people might not. Either way, knowing your audience is a must as a basic of public speaking when delivering a good public speech. That's all for now. Thank you for watching, and if you saw any public speaking fundamentals that I did not mention, please make sure that I know them in the comments, that I would like to improve myself as well. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more.